Hello guys, and welcome to Ride VIP the Ride Show channel. My name is Serge, and in today's video I want to tell you about my 2 weeks working at Chrysler Jeep Dodge as a service technician, which also means a line worker. I want to explain to you guys just very briefly with as much details as possible about what's the difference about the first week transitioning into the second week, and how did, what did I have to go through, right? And at the same time, how did it make me feel, and how do I feel about it now. So mechanics is nothing new to me. I was always around cars and having to fix the cars, because all I could afford was hoopties and somebody else's headaches. So these cars I would end up buying from car auctions, sometimes from Craigslist, not because I was excited about fixing these cars, just because that was the only thing I could afford. So that's what kind of got me into fixing, repairing cars. And of course I took electives back in high school for 4 years. We had a shop class, which was actually a really good class, and they taught us a lot. Also, I come out of the family of mechanics. There's lots of mechanics in my family, like anybody from my dad to my grandpa to my brother to my cousins. There's lots of mechanics in my family. And I think partly is because we came to this country in 1993 with no money. And basically, that's the only thing we could afford is hoopties. And you know what that's like if you are driving one. And they usually say mechanics drive. Why do mechanics drive hoopties and whatnot? And it's because mechanics could, good mechanics can fix their cars. So why am I driving a Range Rover? It's a 2006, nothing to brag about, but they say not reliable car. But guess what? I drive it because I keep getting it fixed, and if anything fails, I'm basically fixing it, and I'm not afraid of anything that happens to it. Good mechanics. I'm not saying I'm a good mechanic, but pretty good at what I do. Especially depending on some cars. Better with some cars than others. But when it comes to this Range Rover, this is my first time owning a vehicle like this. Everything about the engine, transmission, it's completely new to me. But we're not going to be talking about this. I just wanted to kind of get that out there to anybody that's maybe wondering how they could get into mechanics. And maybe if you were doing these type of things that I just mentioned, you have learned a lot about cars, and maybe now that you're watching this video, you're feeling ready to go ahead and get that job. Maybe you want to just go ahead and get a job at a dealership, or maybe just at some kind of a Jiffy Lube or whatever, and maybe you're wondering how can you get into this type of field, what would it take. So for that, just watch some of my earlier videos. But in this video I will tell you this: even though I knew how to work in cars, I run an automotive YouTube channel for the last 8 years. It's wow, how time flies. I started back in 2015 in February, and I have lots of different videos in there, and on top of that I have other YouTube channels with automotive content. So my main one, and this is not going on my main channel. My main channel has over 8 million views and over 30,000 subscribers, and I have lots of different cars there, but mainly it's Mercedes Sprinter vans, which also they're Dodge Sprinter. So I'm working for Chrysler Jeep Dodge, and earlier on I actually bought my Mercedes Sprinter from Chrysler Jeep Dodge. That was my way into getting introduced to the Mercedes Sprinter van, even though it was a Dodge Sprinter van, because it's all Mercedes technically anyways, due to Daimler Chrysler. So I've learned a lot about the Dodge Sprinters. Also, they come with Freightliner Sprinters, but back in 2014 Mercedes basically kind of took over that line, and they've been, well, actually even 2009 they started kind of taking over, and then slowly but surely Dodge was no longer selling Mercedes. I don't know for what reasons, what was the decision behind that. But with that being said, guys, this is a good fit for me to work here to be able to learn about other products, because Chrysler actually has a lot of Mercedes technology built into their cars. So that's an opportunity for me to learn those. So even though I am already familiar with the cars and stuff like that, I really never felt satisfied with this knowledge, just because it felt like to me like, okay, well, I know some of this knowledge. I'm a DIY type of guy. Am I really worthy? I'm just thinking about that to myself. Like, nobody has ever said that to me, but I'm thinking, am I worthy as a mechanic or a service technician? Like, I would like to be able to work for a car dealership and be able to go through all the paces, challenge myself, of course, get like lots of certifications and whatnot, and just be able to learn and hopefully become a master technician. That way I could feel like I'm a worthy mechanic or a service technician. So actually, in the industry of car dealership, they actually call us service technicians. But I was just saying mechanic because technically I was not a service technician. But now, the fact that I'm working for a dealership, I'm a line tech, which means I'm a service technician. I'm doing all kinds of service on all the new cars. I am actually handling warranty jobs for this car dealership. And I'm doing really well, so now let's begin with the first week. Like, my first week was kind of like an up and down type of week. Every day I felt differently about the job. In the beginning, there's just so much to take in. Not only that, you have to learn the names of people around you, and you have to, well, you feel like in the beginning, like maybe you don't fit in, and maybe you have to like make new friends. Well, I keep saying you have to, okay? But you kind of need to be able to at least socialize with some of your coworkers and to be able to fit in, right? At least like where it's needed. And that can be challenging, because here you are, a new person. You're trying to maybe make a friend or two. At the same time, you gotta like learn these new cars, and at the same time, new systems and new ways of doing stuff. At the same time, they're putting you in a class, and then they're really pushing you as well to try to work and get the stuff done. And I'm not saying like somebody's breathing down your neck, but you're like, okay, like you're doing oil changes, you're like replacing these heavy tires, and you're just carrying this stuff, and you're getting you back, you're putting cars on the lift, you're raising them up, you're lowering them down, you're underneath, you're over there, you're over here, and maybe if you haven't done it before, you're not used to that type of work, because it's really, really kind of like stressful on your body, and it's kind of like a big workout, so you start doing it, and like your body feels like it's hurting, your mind feels like it's hurting, like it's fatigued, right? And all of these things make you feel like wow, am I really in the right place? Am I really a right fit? Will I be able to even do this? Kind of like you feel like that. And then other things set in, like the pay. You're thinking, well, maybe I'm underpaid. Maybe I should just stick around, and hopefully the pay will increase, right, as experience comes. You question like all of these different things. Is this really worth it? Am I wasting time here? Why am I really here? Even though like you have your own reasons, but your mind just keeps asking these questions, okay? And I guess the reason I want to bring this out there is, bring it up, because I'm sure we all go through such a thing like that. And you really don't know how to feel about it, because it's work, at the end of the day. So when I was doing DIY stuff, kind of like, you're enjoying that type of work, it's DIY, and you just do what gotta get done. But when you're a service technician, it's an environment where there's like lots of cars, and you got to keep knocking them out, otherwise you're not going to make any money, because it's like flat rate mechanics. If you don't have any cars that you're clocked in on and you're getting that like flat rate pay for those cars, it means potentially you're not going to make any money just by being there, you know. But in the beginning, they start you off at like hourly. So like I'm on a hybrid model, so I'm hourly, which is $16 an hour, and I'm basically making $18 an hour for a flat rate. Now that is considerably underpaid. So yesterday, just for fun, I was at Walmart, and just out of the blue, I was there kind of like late, getting some radiator fluid for this vehicle because I want to perform this service come this Monday at the dealership where I work for. Like after work, I want to go ahead and get it done. So I asked a stalker there. I said, how much does Walmart start off? Like at what pay do they start you off, you know, to stock, you know, as a stalker? And he said $15 an hour. That's what they start with. And I'm getting like 15. So stocking is not an easy job, obviously, right? But at the same time, I mean, you know, for the most part, it's kind of like, it is not like a trade, you know? Like it's not like something like mechanics, like where you have to like really, really learn this stuff, right? There's not a lot of systems in place. Sure, they probably have some systems that they have to follow, right? They have to learn that. But at the end of the day, once you learn those systems and you learn how to, you know, clock in, clock out, you come in, you learn where the stuff is, pretty much you're probably just over there stocking. I never stocked before, but like, I mean, you know, you probably are told to like, you know, maybe like stock certain products, you know, you take them to where they have to go. Or maybe you have to see what's missing. I don't know how they do it over there, but that's already $15 an hour. I've seen some McDonald's this early on. They were saying they were starting people off at $20 an hour here in downtown. I'm sure those things have changed since then. Some Taco Bell locations already start you off at 15. But guess what? North and South Carolina, the minimum wage is still $7.25. I was in the break room today and I've seen, you know, like all the information for the employees, right? Including minimum wage. And it says it was actually, I guess, maybe printed, but it said 2009 on the page. Maybe that's when they set the rate. I'm like, wow, 2009, $7.25. I actually remember 2009. That was a rough year for a lot of people. But now things are way more expensive. Like 2009, stuff was kind of like affordable. You could still get a Cadillac Escalade for probably like $60,000. Well, now it's about $120,000. You could still get a house, you know, back then, like for cheap, especially like in Charlotte market. Like you were able to pick up houses for not a lot of money. Like, you know, let's just maybe say like $500,000 house, but that same house is like $1 million now. You know, maybe more. Houses really went up in value. Interest rates really went up. Car payments went up. The car prices went up. Everything has went up, and I'm like thinking, huh? It's still $7.25 minimum wage, and this is 2023. Wow, this is outdated. That's crazy. Just in the last 2 years, we're facing like a huge inflation problem, and I don't think it's going away. So yes, we're not getting paid $7.25, but that's still set by the state. Technically, they can. So considering the fact that I'm making 16, I guess I'm way above minimum wage. More than twice above that, actually. So you should be grateful, technically. But you look around, and there's a lot of these simple jobs. They're already paying $16 an hour. And then, if you guys watching this channel, you guys know that I was doing rideshare, amongst other things. And in rideshare, I was making something similar to this amount. After fuel expense, okay? So after the fuel expense, I was making about $16 an hour. I was hoping to make more, like 20 at least, right? But sometimes I was grossing $19 an hour, and that's all in, like all the miles and everything. $19 an hour gross. I mean, sure, some days it's gonna be like you're making more, but you look at your whole week and you're like, well, That's actually $19 an hour what I'm making, and now I got to take fuel out of it. So depending on the kind of fuel economy you have, you could be making a different amount. So I looked, and I was only making like $13 plus an hour overall. Sometimes I look, I was making 15. Sometimes I look, I was like making 16. Like some weeks, every week is different. But if you go back on my channel, you'll be able to see how much money I was making. I was pretty upfront, like how many hours I worked. So we're just looking at the hours, like not so much the mileage, because I was putting in between 10 and 12 hours a day, and that's just drive time, like actual working time. But actual driving would be sometimes more, like 14 or 15. But I would not take that into account, because a lot of it was commuting or like maybe like lunch. I would not take that into account. But that being said, that time was still spent you doing something, maybe driving to a job. But now I work from 8 to 5, and today I clocked in at 7:30. I did not clock out for lunch. They're not like strict about you clocking out for lunch, but really in reality I really did not even technically take a lunch. I basically was studying, and then once I was done studying, because I'm in class on my own computer, in the break room, I could actually be over there like in the actual shop. And at about 11:45, my shop foreman comes to me, John, and he's like, hey, you want to knock out this car really quick? Needs the oil change, tire rotation. And I said, yeah, I could do that. I said, well, it's getting ready to be lunchtime. What if I finish this test that this material that I was reading, so I could take a test and just do that? And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. And I said maybe I could do it like right after. So I ended up not taking a lunch. I just did finish my course material, finish that chapter, that section of it, passed the test, and then I even like during lunch I just started working and doing that car, so. But here's what I want to tell you guys about the second week. Monday was really hard. I don't know why Monday was hard. Like Monday felt hard. I don't know if I was under some kind of stress or what, but Monday also was just a lot of work. Maybe it was because of Monday, I don't know. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, including today, Friday, it seemed like easy days for me. Like they went kind of smoothly. I was able to get everything done. Like I feel like I already been working there a lot longer than I have. I'm already familiar with the systems, and they're saying like it would take months to learn this stuff. So they're okay if I would not even understand it, but I'm like, no, I have to challenge myself, and I have to know this as soon as possible. So I'm on top of things, but I expect a lot from myself. So basically right now I feel great. Like I feel like, okay, like I could actually do this, I could work. But getting back to the pay of $16 an hour, I know a lot of you guys are confused and you think like, wow, why such a low pay? How could you work for this pay? And I'm saying that because according to some of the comments that I'm getting, and you guys are correct, you guys are right. I mean, back in the day, people used to make that amount, so yeah, totally understandable. So here's the thing. When you improve, you will end up making more money. But I came here with knowledge, but at the same time, I was never a line tech, so I had to start off at the bottom. So I'm lucky that I'm actually a service tech now, because that's not at the bottom, but I still get the bottom pay. Probably in 3 months they're gonna reevaluate me and tell me what they think, but it's only been 2 weeks. But wow, how the time is flying, because it feels like I just now got started, and now we're here, But the pay that I'm getting right now, the $16 an hour part, that's a loop tech pay. They said they're gonna start me off as a loop tech, but instead they gave me a bay. They gave me a heavy duty lift that can lift up like big diesel trucks, or like big vans, which I'm comfortable to work on. And that's like really cool. Like I'm pretty happy about that. They gave me two great big toolboxes, and I got my tools in there, and like they're looking at my tools, like they're like, maybe say you're not a service tech, but this is service tech tools that I got. I got like in my box. Um, so I'm really glad that they did not waste my time and just put me as a loop tech. Nothing against being a loop tech. It just would feel to me like, okay, I am there, right? And it would feel like a demotion because I was already performing these major repairs on vehicles, and people were confident in my ability to be able to fix them, especially the Sprinter vans. And I had the engines out, transmissions out, doing all kinds of crazy stuff to them, So it would feel like wow, okay, I guess I'm a loop tech, like that would be fine, I guess, because in a way you have to prove to them that you're the right fit and you're able to do these things, and you have to sort of go through those steps. Um, but I'm very happy that I don't even care about the pay, that they just put me as a service technician, because that means I'm already where I want it to be. The pay is not where I want it to be, but I'm already where I want it to be. And as long as I am able to show them that I'm capable, they're gonna keep testing me. They're gonna give me more work, different type of work, and at the end of the 3 months, they might say, you know what, we're giving you a raise. And I'll tell you guys what the raise is gonna be. I first was gonna keep this stuff a secret, but I kind of thought, let me just be helpful and share as much information as possible about what am I doing, because this can help somebody. And I'm doing just that because I don't really plan to make a career out of this. You guys could listen to all my videos, but mainly I'm in it for the self-validation, right? For the training, for the experience, to be able to say then I was a line tech. I was pretty good at my job. I was certified here and there, and I will understand my level of skill because I will remember all of the work that I've done and all of the challenges I had to overcome. And because I would be completing like a lot of different cars, completing those services, I'm going to learn about new problems with the vehicles that they have and all of the things that need to be done to them, and I would be able to then be more successful moving forward. Now, am I sure that I would just open up my own shop and do this? No, I am not. I know I'm gonna I'm already working on cars as DIY. It's not a hustle and bustle. I get some car in, I try to basically fix it as soon as possible. That way it could get back on the road. But the thing is, that's just something I'm enjoying to do it as a DIY. I don't know if I would want to turn it into just a shop that's just run like that. I can, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. And I guess this type of job will help me figure that out, because I have like no idea right now. How am I supposed to know? And I understand a lot of you guys saying, well, how much can you make? Well, why don't you do it if you make a lot of money? Because to me, I still value freedom. And right now, the way I look at things, yes, this is an 8 to 5 job, and it feels kind of like I lost a little bit of my freedom. But at the same time, the way I look at it, I'm getting paid to go to school. So the thing that I think I do want to do is actually have my own online used car parts business. And this is why I purchased 34 cars. I want to build my warehouse. I want to build my shop. And I'm already working on these things as we speak. I do think that taking apart cars is a lot less challenging than to actually being able to perform different services to these cars, you know. I think selling car parts is a lot less of a challenge. I mean, it's got its own set of challenges, sure, but you know, it's in a way it's better. So I think I'm like, this is going to be a way for me to really discover things, and at the same time I can have job security. I mean, I don't know right now where this economy is going. I don't know, like, if my businesses can be self-sustained going forward. Like, I don't know, like, these things, you know. But if I ever need a job as a service technician, I'll be able to also get one, because I'll get the right training, and you know, you could take that to the bank, as they say, right? But anyways, gonna get myself some food. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate y'all, and stay in touch, please. I really love to hear your comments, and I've been replying so far. I've been trying to manage this, but take care of yourself. Good luck. Bye bye.